You scroll past a comment on Reddit that stops you cold. Living alone is the best thing I've ever done. No roommates, no noise, no compromises, just peace. Wait, what? We've been taught that humans are social creatures. That living alone is isolating, lonely, maybe even depressing. But online, thousands are saying the opposite. They claim solo living is freeing, empowering, even healthier. So we did what we do best. We searched Reddit, Quora, YouTube comments, and real-world surveys to find the truth. Is living alone actually better, or is that just what people tell themselves to cope? Let's dive into the internet's verdict. Culturally, the ideal has long been roommates in your 20s, a partner by 30, a family by 35. Living alone was often framed as sad, something to fix, not something to choose. But the reality? It's shifting. From Gen Z to boomers, more people are embracing the solo life. No more cleaning up after roommates. No more negotiating thermostat settings. No more noise when you're trying to sleep. Just your space. Your rules. Your peace. But of course, it's not all plants and Pinterest's perfect quiet. Loneliness, safety concerns, and costs can weigh heavy. On Reddit, subreddits like Simple Living and Living Alone are filled with brutally honest takes. One post reads, 33 male just moved out of my parents' house after recovering from the financial ruins caused by divorce. I have never lived by myself until now, and I gotta say it's really great. I get to do what I want when I want, focus on myself, and decorate however I like. I do have to work extra to afford my bills by myself, but it's well worth it. I have more confidence in myself knowing I can support myself. It gets lonely at times, but I try to have friends over on my occasional night off. I keep busy cleaning, cooking, playing Call of Duty, and watching TV. My depression is pretty much non-existent, and I've learned how to be my own best friend. Moving out alone has been one of the best things I have done. I'm really happy. That's all. Another post reads, I have always lived with family and roommates. I noticed that I would spend more time on being a people pleaser to my family or roommates than actually living my life. In my own apartment, I can do anything I want and don't have to consider my family or roommates. For example, when waking up to get ready for work, I would spend a few minutes asking my roommate if she needs to use the washroom right now. You get the gist. Yes, it's very expensive and I live in Toronto, so that doesn't help. But I am willing to work overtime so that I can afford rent, and honestly I don't mind. Work is the source of my socialization, and it's nice to just come home to a quiet and peaceful space, unlike my roommate who's very loud and would blast music all day long. Another user added, living with other people sucks. I grew up in a very big family with a dozen people using one bathroom. Not only did I not have my own bedroom, I actually had to share a bed with 3 of my sisters. My siblings wore my clothes without permission. I had to wait in line to shower, and there was never any hot water. People would pound on the door when I was trying to use the bathroom. I could never get away from the people who were annoying me, and there weren't enough seats for everyone at our kitchen table. We ate in shifts, and there was never quite enough food. I never had any peace and quiet, and I had zero privacy. As an adult, I have always wanted to live alone. I can do what I want, when I want, and there is nothing but peace and quiet. If I buy food, it's in the fridge until I eat it. I like that. I don't find other people's clothes on the floor. I don't clean up after anyone else. Nobody bothers me while I am in the shower, and there is plenty of hot water. I can sleep on either side of the bed, and nobody else's alarm wakes me up in the morning. Living alone is bliss. Another user added, I don't understand how anyone does it. I've always lived with roommates or family. I'm married now, but if I wasn't, even though I can afford it, I would 100% have at least one roommate. I can't imagine how lonely it must be to live alone. Whenever my wife goes out of town, I get so lonely. Same thing happened when I had roommates. A few days alone and I'd start to lose my mind. Even when I had messy roommates, I still preferred living with someone over living alone. I don't get how people my age, 24, are willing to blow half their paycheck just to live by themselves, instead of saving a ton of money by having a roommate. Apparently, this is an unpopular opinion, because everyone I know says they love living alone. Another user added, I'm probably one of the biggest introverts in the world, but I mostly didn't like living alone. It really depended on the situation. In college dorms, it was perfect, mainly because of how campuses are set up. There are always people right outside your door if you want or need them, and just about everything you need is within walking distance. But having my own place as an adult, where I didn't know anyone and it was harder to get what I needed, especially before you could just order anything online and have it delivered in 2 days or less, I wasn't into that. I got bored a lot. I need people nearby, people I can talk to when I feel like it and ignore when I don't. Also, my physical health isn't great, so it just makes more sense to live with someone else. That way, we can rely on each other if one of us isn't doing well. I honestly can't imagine living alone anymore. Day-to-day life was basically work, home, sleep, repeat. Honestly, it still kind of is. That's just what being a single adult looks like with the way the world is set up, and I hate it. It's just less boring and less difficult when other people are around. I can't do the live with a friend thing either. Friendship feels kind of pointless to me. It has to be a family member, and that's who I live with now. On Quora, one user talks about the transformational power of solo living. I was out in front of the house last night at 11:30 p.m. and took this picture because the dining room lights are rarely on at night, and I thought it looked interesting. I was up writing a piece for my Substack page, and there was a point in my research where I just needed to stop and go outside with my dog. We could hear the coyotes off in the distance, just as we do every night we're outside. This is what living alone is all about. Nothing about the time of day or my work matters to anyone but me at that hour. I'm not bothering anyone, and I'm doing my best work at the same time. Isn't that a great thing? The iPhone 15 Pro does an amazing job with low-light photos, so I wanted some pictures of the house at night while the lights were on in that one room. That's when it's most interesting out here in the country. This is the very core of what living alone can produce. You get to work at your optimum and become something better than you ever thought possible. If you ever wonder where great musicians, artists, writers, and thinkers of all types come from, it comes from their time alone when they get to practice. I encourage it because I think it builds self-reliance and an ability to stand on your own. I think that's an important ingredient on your way to success. But not everyone agrees. One wrote, I lived alone for 3 years. It was fine, until it wasn't. I missed laughter. I missed casual conversation. Eventually, I felt invisible. And in YouTube comment sections like what it's really like to live alone, opinions are split. Living alone is like discovering you're the main character in your own life. Versus, it's fun until you realize no one's waiting for you at home. So what does the data say? According to Pew Research, 28% of US adults now live alone, up from just 13% in 1960. And a 2023 YouGov poll found that more than half of Americans aged 18 to 34 say they prefer living alone, even if it costs more. Other trends? Searches for benefits of living alone and how to enjoy solitude are rising fast on Google. But there's nuance. Psychologists say long-term loneliness can lead to depression, but so can living with the wrong people. It's not about whether you're alone, it's about how you experience being alone. Why it's becoming so popular. So why are more people going solo? Part of it is generational. Younger people are delaying marriage, pursuing careers, and choosing personal growth over pressure. Then there's burnout from bad roommate or relationship experiences. Some users say they started living alone because they were forced to, but now, they wouldn't go back. As one Redditor put it, I used to think I needed someone to feel whole. Living alone taught me I already was. Pros of living alone. Total freedom. Personal space. Peace, quiet, and control. Better self-awareness and independence. Cons people mentioned: loneliness or isolation, higher living costs, no backup in emergencies, social pressure or judgment. So, is living alone actually better? Here's the internet's verdict. Yes, for many people, it absolutely is. Not because they hate others, but because they've found joy in solitude, growth in silence, and clarity in independence. But for others, it's a phase, a step towards something more connected. And that's okay too. So now we ask you: would you live alone if money wasn't a factor? Do you think solo living is underrated or overhyped? Leave your take in the comments, we're listening. And subscribe for more verdicts from the internet, every single week. Because next time, we're unpacking another huge question the world won't stop debating.